I don't even know what to do anymore. I guess we're at post to post. Hey, everybody, it's me, fucking Grayson. What's up? I'm back, bitches. I guess since I'm here, I might as well give a. Oh, yeah.
There it is. Oh,
for another episode of Post to Post.
You've done made Chapel a happy man.
That's what I'm here for. I watched Zero Wrestling for 4 months, and somehow you weasel me in, and the person doesn't even show up, and I talk shit, and that's our cold open. Hey, everyone.
Well, at least you watched All Out.
I watched half of it. I got to the 4-way for the interim women's title, and then that's where I stopped.
Well, I mean, let's just go ahead. We'll say what we need to say because the internet showed you everything else you needed to see.
Oh my god! Fuck the internet.
Exactly. But yes, it's post to post. The full power of the Brothers of Discussion is back for at least this episode, and then we brought the man from Joetown, Adam. What's happening, buddy?
Not much. I mean, I was so excited about All Out and all this Fallout, I kind of invited myself and just do you need somebody this week? Because I'd love to talk about this shit show.
He loves that hot goss, guys.
I mean, if you saw half the hot goss and nonsense that we ramble about in our Facebook Messenger group, yes, that is fact.
I mean, hot
and
goss
at least we controlled all of the quote-unquote sports talk this week.
Speaking of which, since they decided to nickname you CM Punk and me Kenny Omega, tomorrow we need to blitz the chat with GIFs. Tomorrow.
I agree. Me being still laid up post-knee surgery, I'm all for that. I'm wondering if I should go deep cut wrestling or regular kind. We'll see. But yes, let's just say it's going to be a very AEW heavy episode to everyone up front. I'm going to take care of a little housekeeping at the beginning just to cover Clash at the Castle because everyone who listens regularly will hear me eat my words about many things I've said in the past. But
you mean everything you've ever said in the past?
No, just specific certain something.
But, I don't know. Last I remember, it was always a poo-poo on the WWE. So if you say anything good, it's a 180.
Hey, I've said good stuff about the WWE quite recently.
I wasn't here for that.
I know. Someone hasn't watched wrestling in 4 months.
This is very true. I have not.
But it's okay. You've been watching a different kind of wrestling, like Little Man wrestling with gravity and stuff like that.
Oh, God, it's a bloodbath.
It's good stuff, though. It's good stuff. Makes me happy.
He's a good one.
So, before we dive into the shit show that was All Out, not as in All Out itself was a shit show. It wasn't. But everything following All Out definitely was. I'm going to talk about Clash at the Castle for a little bit because, one, it was WWE's first pay-per-view in the UK in 30 years. First big pay-per-view. They hyped it up a lot. And it was good. Of the predicted matches we went over last week, myself and Chapel, I bat a perfect 1,000 last week. Chapel got 90%. He only missed one. Well, if I were to do the math of 6, he got 5 out of 6. I'm still going to call it 90% because I don't feel like doing that math right now. So, yeah, he still got most of them. And it wasn't too bad. I mean, he only got the Riddle and Rollins match wrong because he backed Patrick Starr instead of the flaming flamingo man that was Seth Rollins Saturday. He looked absurd. He had regular pants on, big bell-bottom pants that covered his boots that were then strapped under his boots so they didn't ride up his legs. And they just looked like they were made out of felt. It was gross. It was real gross. Just all I could see every time, like the whole match, I was like, those look really sweaty. Just pooling and sweating inside of that, like, ugh.
It was hot.
No, it was very gross. Yeah,
Just
that.
Take it and sniff it in the locker room, right?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed.
Oh boy, indeed. But yeah.
That on eBay.
Some of the matches that were surprisingly good. I don't know if they've officially started calling them that, but we saw that they applied for the trademark for it. But Damage Control, aka Bailey, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai against Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. Damn fine.
That's their name now.
It is?
Yeah, I think so.
Because they still weren't calling them that when they came out, but I know that they had already started the ball rolling to slowly make that a name. But it was a fucking great match. And that Dirty Trio got the win. And the craziest part, Michael Cole referenced the faction that Io Sky and Asuka were in together in Japan.
What? They said something outside?
They made references to an external company and a person's past career before WWE.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I was super happy. Also, this was one of the few times where I didn't hear them say the name of the fucking pay-per-view 900 goddamn times throughout the course of the commentary.
I've been reading a little bit. I still catch some headlines. From what I could tell, man, is like Triple H taking over, breathing new life in the commentary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, now, what's funny is before you thought Michael Cole was the weak link. I think Corey Graves is the weak link in commentary now.
Oh, yeah. Corey Graves needs to be direct.
Yeah, Michael Cole's back to, like, peak Michael Cole.
That's good. I still miss backstage Frosted Tips Michael Cole.
Everyone does. Everyone does.
And Todd Pettigrew?
Pettingill.
Pettingill, that's right.
Pettingill. Yeah. I want him to come back for every In Your House that NXT does.
Yes.
He has to. It's part of his blood now. It has to happen. But beyond that match was great. Morgan and Baszler was good. It wasn't some shiesty schmozzy finish because everyone knows all about Morgan getting the kind of shiesty win over Ronda where she tapped out but they didn't see it and she got her with the pin.
Yeah.
Well, she won clean over Baszler. She out-wrestled her, rolled her up, got the pin. Damn good match. I was surprised because, I mean, if I thought they were going to move the belt off of her at all, I would have thought Baszler would have been a good choice, but no, they didn't. Because, well, they're really pushing Morgan right now. She's having a blast. She's doing real good. Again, Rollins versus Riddle. Rollins, always a joy to watch. Riddle, really good. Just his Patrick Star trunks were really distracting. But, I mean, it was a great match. It told the story. Their feud's going to go a little bit longer, I think. They're going to have a rubber match on down the line. Before I get to my favorite match of the night, I'll talk about one that is definitely high up there, which I never thought I'd say it, but I enjoyed a Roman Reigns match.
Fucking witchcraft.
It even makes me feel dirty saying it, but it's true, I did. Reigns and McIntyre was a great fucking match. I've never seen Roman actually emote facially, like do any sort of emotion or anything. And the crowd completely 100% anti-Roman. Had him visibly shook. And he acted it out perfectly. He even took a moment mid-match to yell at the announce table to throw him a microphone. And he yelled at the crowd to acknowledge him. And they all pretty much told him to fuck off.
Nice.
I mean, I was like, this is great. But, like, he was making great facial expressions. He was playing up the crowd. He was doing everything he could. McIntyre and him were trading licks and finishing moves back to back to back to back. Everyone kicking out the last second. But the big kicker for this match was McIntyre had it in the bag. He speared Roman, hit him with the Claymore, 1-2, and then the other brother of the Usos came out and drugged the ref out of the ring. He drugged Lil Nate out the ring.
The Sikoa?
Solo
or something?
Yeah. And Roman was able to capitalize on that and get the W. Another thing that I noticed while watching this pay-per-view before I get into my favorite matches, I'm definitely more about the UK-style crowd than the American-style crowd. One, they don't seem toxic as shit. They were all just super stoked to be watching wrestling. And two, it wasn't loaded down with smart mark signs. It wasn't loaded down with self-referential signs. It wasn't loaded down with signs, people, hyping their podcasts, which, I mean, I'm guilty of that. Fuck, I took a sign with a QR code to subscribe to the show, to an AEW show one time. I mean, it is what it is. You get over how you get over. But it was literally, they had flags for the respective part of the UK they were at. They had big, custom-made, flags for some of their favorite wrestlers. They had, classic wrestler-specific signs, like if McIntyre loses, we riot type of shit. It was just a great fucking crowd. They had tons of energy. They were doing, soccer or football-style chants for the different performers. It was glorious. McIntyre had a fucking weird sing-along with them. Him and Tyson Fury sang American Pie,
right? Yeah.
It's fucking surreal. But the best match of the night on that card, by far, was Sheamus and Gunther. Which, Walter's still a better name. And then they even referenced that because the crowd was chanting Walter. And it was either Michael Cole or Corey Graves one. And you can hear the crowd chanting for Gunther's past. Or bringing up Gunther's past. I was like, oh man, they are referencing everything. Because, if it's one thing WWE's been known for, it's like if they change something, it's dead, it's gone. They never talk about it again.
It's true.
They referenced everything, and it was great. But let's just say that match, and then the Kingston and Ishii match from the All Out pre-show were two of the heaviest hitting matches I've watched in a long time. Chop fucking City. Chop, 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 chop. Sheamus was bleeding from his shoulder from where a fingernail nicked him during one of the chops within the first 3 minutes of the match. And his chest was just purpley blue, the whole time. And then Gunther was looking the same. Just goddamn, it was heavy-hitting, bruiser-ass wrestling. It was glorious. And, again, I was amazed I called everything that we had to predict from last week. And if there's any matches I'm missing, it's just because, even though they were all good, I just don't remember it right now. And with AEW coming up, or with AEW's Hellacious weekend, we need to get down into that because that's where the bread and butter is this week for hot goss and what the fuck's going to come next. So, with that, that's my my WWE catch-up time. So let's go ahead, gentlemen. Let's start with the All Out pre-show. All right, so first thing, Ruby Soho's nose was broken, legit. She took a straight knee to the face from Ty Mello, and she was hustling out of the fucking arena after it. And what I saw, this is probably the weakest of all the matches from that card.
It definitely was. I'll be honest, I didn't even notice. I was kind of trying to get situated, preparing for the pay-per-view, and I had walked out of the room, and I missed some of that. And I had somebody, I was talking to somebody through chat, and they were like, "What happened to Ruby Soho?" And I was like, "I missed it."
She got hoisted up. Ty went for the Ty KO and caught her right in the fucking, square in the nose with that knee. And she broke the shit out of it, apparently. Next, you had Hook versus Daddy Magic, Angelo Parker. I thought it was a pretty fun match. I mean, it wasn't great. Apparently, Bleacher Report thought it was a C+. I thought it was a little better than that.
You know what's interesting about that match is how many matches have we seen, with the exception of when he won the FTW Championship, it always seems like Hook dominates.
Yeah.
He never seems to get into trouble or, have a tough match. It's always, that's been his sort of thing. It was kind of nice to see him struggle a little bit in this match and not just go out there and kick the crap out of the guy.
I know. He had... He was pretty well neutralized by Parker up at the beginning. And then there's one little thing right up front that kind of threw everything off a little bit, and then from then on it was the Hook show. Probably the wildest part of that match, and really the whole setup, in my opinion, was just so they could bring the person that raps his theme song out. Action Bronson came out in the ring and helped him from being double teamed by the Jericho Appreciation Society.
I was just about to ask if that was the match that I saw that he showed up.
Yep. That was the one. And he fucking chucked, who was it? Was it Angelo or was it Menard who he chucked across the ring?
I don't remember, but I was kind of shocked to see that.
Yeah, I was surprised. He grabbed him. He hooked him across the ring. I was like, God damn.
Yeah. It was a good toss.
Following that match was Kip Sabian's first match in 500 days against Pac for the All-Atlantic title.
That was a great match.
It was really good. And Sabian, I think he's gotten bigger. He for some reason he didn't look as small as he did before he left. I think he's put some size on.
So I gotta ask you this, because I got back into wrestling about little over a year ago.
Uh-huh.
Has he always been weird and talk to his box hat?
The box. Okay.
Is that new?
That is new-ish. Okay, so I'll run things back real quick, and Grayson, you can help me fill in anything that I forget, because this is during, peak us really rambling about shit days. So, yes. To roll it back to the best part to start this story. 1, Kip Sabian's been in AEW since day 1. 2, when Miro came in, Miro came as Kip Sabian's best man. Miro debuted as the best man because he was going to be the best man at Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford's wedding, which was on TV. And they had a whole feud with Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends and shit, which culminated in the wedding turning into kind of a shit show. Miro getting pissed off at Sabian and kayfabe breaking Kip Sabian's arm in the door in the locker room at Daly's place. That was the last time Sabian was on TV. But not long after that, someone in a suit with a box on their head started showing up at ringside at damn near every taping. That turned out to be Kip Sabian. And he's been doing that since then. He was at the AEW show I was at in DC back in January. He actually walked up to the upper balcony and I could have walked over and been like, hey, what's up? And got a picture with him. He was just wearing the box, sitting in the crowd. But things came out. People found out it was Kip Sabian, and it kind of became this, has he been fired? Is he doing this to troll AEW? What's going on? And then in the UK, he's been doing the same thing. He's been trolling Pac recently, and that brings us kind of up to the impetus for this match. And, well, apparently they're playing up the box as he kind of went a little nutso as the box man, and so now the box is, I guess, his guru or spirit guide or some shit. I don't know.
I found that a little weird. That was I've seen him in the crowds and everything, and I just didn't know the backstory on. I need to go back and watch earlier AEW.
Yeah, I mean, it started off hella strong. 2019, the first Dynamite that October 5th show. I was at that one into up to like mid-March 2020. Then it turned into the Empty Arena Daily's Place shows from then on out until, what was it? Was it late 2020 or 2021 when they started doing the crowd again, Grayson? You remember?
2021, I feel like.
Okay. Because I think what it was is they started, of course, they had the wrestlers in as the crowd at the beginning. And then I think either into 2020, beginning of 2021, they started bringing in small, select crowd pods into Daily's Place. And then at least like late spring, early summer of 21 is when the crowds fully came back. And they started traveling again. Because, yeah, that makes sense, because I believe the Fyter Fest we went to in Charlotte was one of the first crowd shows where they started traveling again.
Yeah, I believe so.
It's weird, man. You can watch it, and then you hit that 2020 period, and it gets fucking strange. It's not bad. It just gets strange because of the lack of crowd. I miss the days of Pineapple Pete. I do. I miss Pineapple Pete. And Adam, you'll have to go back and watch early COVID-era Dynamite to get that one. But you might enjoy Pineapple Pete as much as we did.
You have me intrigued.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good stuff either way. So, Pac wins. Sabian looked fucking great. He didn't really seem like he had a ton of ring rust either. Like, he went toe-to-toe with Pac. And it was a good one. And then finally, you had the big match of the night. Kingston and Ishii. Pure Japanese strong style match from start to finish. I swear to God, the first 5 or 6 minutes straight of that match was just chopping to the chest.
There were so many broken blood vessels in both their chests. It was great.
Did you see that nasty one on Ishii's chest near his armpit where the vein started to pop up and blood blister?
Yeah. Oh. That was nuts.
It was crazy. And, like, they're going to have another match because Ishii was fucking pissed at the end of that match. Kingston tried to come over and congratulate him. Kingston was like telling them, nah, he was fucking great. He had him cut his music and start Ishii's music over. He went over to try and help Ishii up, and Ishii just shoved him away. I was like, oh damn. Because I mean, it was damn near a half hour long. It was a fucking great match.
Yeah, I checked the time a few times. I'm like, not that it wasn't. I'm not trying to say it was boring or anything. I was like, this has gone on for a while. Like, aren't we up to 7 o'clock already? You know, Isn't it showtime?
I really thought that opener was going to run long and they were going to cut the feed.
I kind of wondered if that's what was going to happen too as I was watching the clock.
Mm-hmm. I really thought that was going to happen. But yeah, it was good stuff. It was good stuff. I thought the whole thing was a solid intro show. Whole solid intro show. And to walk it back a little bit because I forgot about it. Orange Cassidy walking out to challenge Pac for the All-Atlantic Championship.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That was weird.
It was.
Like his music hit and everyone fucking popped. And then Pac's like, no, you're not a wrestler, you're a sideshow. And then just dipped out. And then did it again in the interview during the main part of All Out. But good God. Hell of a show. All right, so to go ahead and say this. Of all the matches the other day, or of All Out that I thought were weird and just had the strangest vibe, it was by far the casino ladder match. What say you?
It made no sense.
It was just the way they did it was just so strange. It's like, okay, did you run really long on something beforehand that made you just really cliff note what you wanted to do? Because it's like when Stokely's crew ran out to start interrupting everything, there was no fanfare at all.
Well, it's because it's Stokely. I don't give a shit about
Stokely. I mean, they all had masks.
They
all had masks on, so you didn't know it was them until they took them off. It's just like, even like the commentary team, they didn't do anything to hype up that a whole bunch of dudes in hoodies and masks were running out and running train on everyone out there. They said some stuff about it, but they didn't have any, energy behind what they were saying to really, get me invested in what was happening in the moment.
No, it was weird. And, the other thing was, too, like, they were prepared. I felt like the commentators were preparing for it, though, because, like, I can't remember who it was, comes down the ramp and then, like, tosses Dante Martin. And they're like, oh, Dante's done. And I'm like, I've seen Dante take bigger hits than that. But it felt like they were like, they knew it was coming, and they were just like, oh yeah, Dante's done. And I'm like,
oh, was that the one where Roosh like walked him all the way up the fucking ramp?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, Dante Martin's done. And I'm like, what?
It was weird. It just had a strange vibe. And like, don't get me wrong, I knew the Joker won before I ever watched it, and I knew who the Joker was. But it still doesn't change the fact that, watching this, it's still the first time I'm seeing it happen. So there should still be an element of surprise. Like, even if the show's spoiled for me, the fact that I don't know how it plays out keeps it from being a pure spoiler. You know what I mean?
By the way, so I got to bring this up because I wasn't the only one of my other friends. We talked about this and thought the same thing. It didn't seem like that was MJF out there.
When he strutted in, for me,
I felt like it was.
It totally was. Like, he had the cocky MJF walk, the one where he kind of like drops his shoulders real hard with every step. It's like he steps so hard his shoulders drop.
And then and when he gets in the ring and does the spin, he does that every now and then.
He does the spin. He does the foot wipe, the traditional foot wipe before he steps onto the canvas.
Yeah, I didn't notice those. And maybe I haven't watched him enough, but when I was like looking at him, I'm like, that doesn't look like MJF. I thought it was. Like, I thought that's who the Joker was going to be. But I'm looking at like the body structure in that suit, and I'm just like, that's not MJF.
Yeah. I'm just wondering how the rumor, as you know, from the media scrum where Jericho was talking to MJF ahead of time about working as a face and helping him out doing that. How is that going to happen when he had Stokely Hathaway's heel crew help him get the chip? It seemed more like there's almost setting up another stable that MJF's going to kind of run with Stokely like managing the affairs of the underlings.
I'm good with that. I'm kind of enjoying this whole Stokely thing.
I don't get me wrong, it's fine. It's fine. It really is. I mean, Stokely, I don't find him very entertaining, but I find what they've been doing with them to be pretty good. And then the fact that they just brought in William Morrissey, who has been doing great since he dropped the big Cass look, I'm for it. But only time will tell. I'm wondering if this is just a temporary thing that's going to help MJF turn face during whatever program he begins to work coming up soon for his title shot. But it just brings me back to the fact that this ladder match was just really fucking strange. It's like I feel like they missed a beat some way, somehow. I feel like they missed a beat.
So would you say this was your least favorite match then for All Out? Because I know it's not mine. I've got one in mind that is the one I didn't like, but
I liked the match up until the ending, so it wouldn't. But I didn't finish the pay-per-view, obviously, so I don't really have a worst.
I will say it's a tie with the one that I dislike the most. I'll say it's a tie.
Not for me. I think the one that I hated out of what I saw, it's by far the worst. I loved the hard-hitting spots. I thought everyone did their job well throughout the whole match. It was just the ending. I mean, whenever I saw the fucking nameless ghoul come out, I thought Ghost was coming up.
Next, Trios Championship.
Oh, this match was good.
Oh, I thought it was really good.
This was a good match.
Real good.
It was on my phone only a little bit.
I didn't touch my phone during this one. I didn't. This was a great match. I kind of like the weird will they, won't they dissension inside the Dark Order team, but then how they kind of sorted their shit out towards the end.
Yeah.
Once Hangman found out there was no honor amongst thieves, and they decided to finally gel. It makes me wonder how it's going to pan out since he hit Silver with the buckshot. Is that going to be a rift for them or something else?
You know, I was super disappointed that this wasn't the Elite versus the Best Friends, but then all the moments between Hangman and Omega, it was worth it as much as I like the Best Friends.
I thought it was going to be the Elite versus the Best Friends too, because the way I was thinking is it's a good... No, I didn't think it was going to be Elite Best Friends. I thought that even though Kenny was back and everything, I figured they would have played his injury up a little bit more and then threw United Empire a bone, since they AEW did kind of shaft New Japan during Forbidden Door, and then have... I personally thought it would be and wanted it to be United Empire versus Best Friends, so we would have gotten the Omega and Orange Cassidy rematch inside of that match. That's what I was expecting myself. This being the alternate Omega Hangman rematch, I'm pleased either way, but I was expecting Best Friends to finally get some due and get a trios title. Not that they hold it for very long. And it'd be the easiest way to put a belt on Orange Cassidy without making too many people piss their pants in anger.
I would not be one of those people. I think it's time for an Orange Cassidy run.
He needs a belt, yeah.
Yeah, I think if he gets a belt at all, I think the trios would be the best one for him. But at the same time, I'm happy they're putting him in a program with Pac. But I don't want to see him beat Pac, because I think Pac deserves to run this belt that he's got for a while.
Yeah, I would
agree with you.
I don't see him beating Pac. I see him beating who beats Pac.
Yeah, probably.
And then set it up as a long-term thing.
Yeah, but I don't want to see him beat Pac, because, like I said, Death Triangle needs some love. Pac, he fucking earned that shit.
100 years, Pac is champ.
Yep. 1,000 years. If I were to go for spots, the match was just good all around. I can't think of any specific spots in that match between the Elite and the Dark Order that really stand out, because the whole match had like a good even keel the whole time. No one tried to, get their hype over anyone else, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Everyone got spots in.
Yeah, everyone got spots in without looking like they're trying to steal the show from everyone else. It was just, a good balanced match. It was good stuff.
And a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of close calls there.
Oh, God, there were a ton. I did when Silver almost got that pin, too.
Well, loved it. I would have loved it if Silver had gotten the win for the team.
I know.
I want Dark Order to have a belt at some point as well.
I do too. I just wonder how long Dark Order's still going to be around, because they damn near removed everyone from it. I mean, Grayson left, fucking Alan Angels left, Anna Jay went over to the Jericho Appreciation Society. Ten's on the shelf with an injury. Evil Uno is kayfabe injured. I don't know.
And then, did you see that, just because you brought him up, Evil Uno's not even in Fight for the Fallen.
What?
Or Fight Forever, sorry.
What?
Yeah, he's not in the first wave. He might be DLC later, kind of like FTR, but yeah, he's not one of the...
That's weird, because he's been on the fucking hype tour for the game.
Yeah, he literally was the one wrestling the match.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
I don't know who made the choices for that, but anyway. Next match. Jade and Athena.
That was I hated that match.
I didn't think it was great, but it wasn't the worst for me. One, Athena made Jade look good, because Athena's good. Secondly, Jade's comic book reference gear, or video game reference gear, is always good. She came out like She-Hulk. and it wasn't terrible. But all things considered, like I've said for a while, I think Jade's going to hit triple digits on her title reign before she loses it.
Oh, I hope not. They're
going to Goldberg the shit out of her.
I've said this to you before. I think I said it on the last episode I was on. I'm done with Jade. Like, it's gotten to the point for me where I just go into a match and I'm just like, well, she's not going to lose. She's not going to lose. And honestly, I've gotten to the point now where I fast forward through her matches and her promos on Dynamite. Like, I just can't do it with her anymore.
I just don't think she's that good. I think she's got the perfect look for a champion.
Yeah.
But but really all she is she's just marketing. She has a good entrance, a good look. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
She's marketing.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're going to Goldberg the shit out of her. That's pretty much it. She's Lady Goldberg.
And then,
I will say this, though. Her little girl at ringside warms the heart, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That right there, I see it, and I'm just like, oh, that's nice.
It
makes me hate Jade less.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, I will give you that, Will.
Yeah, I agree.
She can tug my heartstrings all day.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that right there, and it's like, Jade even, points her out and, does all the stuff, but makes it look like she's still talking shit to the crowd, but she's just, hyping up her little girl there.
That's right.
So I'm just like, yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. But, I mean, Athena definitely, if anyone's going to get that TBS title, I would want it to be Athena.
I'm really enjoying her. I didn't see her in WWE, but
when she was in Ramon, she was mean as fuck.
Yeah, I've gone back and watched some of the highlights on YouTube, and yeah, I don't know, maybe she makes a run at the overall women's championship. I'd be good with that.
Yeah, the finish of that match was weirdly short, but it made sense because, I mean, she was coming full steam at Jade with that big ass fucking pump kick leading into Jaded. I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because, I mean, that's the setup every time, but her coming off the ropes at full tilt and then taking that pump kick straight to the chest, I was like, okay, I'm not even going to complain because it worked out. Following that, FTR and Wardlow versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. This is probably one of, if not my favorite match of the entire card.
I can agree for what I watched. That match was just, it's just too stupid fucking good. It was outrageous.
You knew it was going to be good as soon as they announced the Motor City Machine Guns wrestling with Jay Lethal.
100%. I love the Motor City Machine Guns. I've been a fan of Chris Sabin. That he was the future, I think it's the future Chris Sabin, or his finisher was the future Shock or something. It was just a muscle buster.
It still is.
A muscle buster. I liked Alex Shelley when he was in the Paparazzi Productions or whatever tag team back in the Impact days.
I've
always been a fan.
I've liked Chris Sabin since I first started seeing him show up in the Super Juniors competitions on New Japan. And I was like, who is this? He's fucking great. And then I watched some of his old stuff. I was like, God damn, he's fucking great. Yep. He sold himself on me immediately. And then I watched Motor City Machine Gun stuff and I was like, yes, they are one of the greatest tag teams ever. That will never get the shine they deserve. You've got to be like us to really get it.
I didn't know who they were, but it was a great match. I love Wardlow. I love FTR. You know what's funny is I hated FTR when they were with
MJF.
You need to cut his mic.
Who's
he didn't like FTR. Oh. You need to go ahead and turn him off real fast. I got shit to talk. No, I'm joking. Yeah, How can you not like the best theme song in the business?
Oh God!
It is the best theme song in the business.
Their knockoff Midnight Express theme is fucking. Mwah, that's chef kiss caliber good. Now, Grayson, let me ask you: how do you enjoy Alex Shelley's Teenage Bottle Rocket butt?
I'm actually not the biggest fan of Teenage Bottle Rocket anymore. The lead singer is Dick. And, congratulations, he is married, had a kid recently. But, there's some allegations there. And for that, I do not support him. I support the rest of the members of the band. So, with that said, I used to be very excited about it. But when that came to light, kind of whatever.
It soured you a bit.
Yeah, it soured me a little bit.
Fair enough. I know, I was thinking about it the whole time. Like, when I watched the match, I was like, oh, look, Teenage Bottle Rocket butt. And I was like, I wonder if Grayson likes them still.
After those things. And, there's a little bit of a rep there that most people have known about. But when you hear the story, like the stories, it's kind of like, I don't know about that, bro.
It's a little weird.
Yeah. It's hard to stay dedicated to the cause.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of heartstrings, the daughter coming out.
Oh yeah,
was awesome, and then breaking the pencil, great.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot, even though she struggled a little bit breaking that pencil.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I was like, that's great. You're a little kid. That's perfect. And then getting to do the 1 foot pin. Oh man, this is good. I did learn one thing finally. I didn't realize it. I always wondered why he always held up his hand and pointed to his thumb in the Motor City Machine Guns. I never put 2 and 2 together if they were referencing the mitten and the general location of Detroit.
See, I wasn't like, I got that after a minute, but I was like, he's from Wisconsin. He's pointing to the peninsula. Like that's what I think when I see that. But
yeah, but someone randomly mentioned it on commentary, and I was like, oh, weird. I never knew. It's subtle and obvious at the same time, so it just right over my head. Yeah, that match right there, them hitting the big rig on fucking Lethal, and then Lethal getting the Powerbomb Symphony.
Oh, I love the Powerbomb Symphony from Wardlow.
Yeah, he sells it real well. I like face Wardlow so much. The next time when he does a turn in the future, he's going to be a fucking terror. Especially now that he's flying solo. His heel turn in the future is going to be immense.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and say that now that he doesn't have to, cower behind the shit heel that is MJF.
You know what? I'd like to hear from MJF what he thinks of FTR and Wardlow now referring to themselves as the Pinnacle. Like they did that on Dynamite that one.
Oh yeah, I know. That's even how I wrote them down on our chart of names. I was like, I just wrote down the Pinnacle because I didn't feel like writing FTR and Wardlow. I was just like, Pinnacle. Yeah, I think they could call themselves the Pinnacle easily because it's just a lot more believable. It really is. Now, following this, Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. This match was weirdly short. And it didn't kind of go the way I thought it would.
It definitely did not go the way I thought it would. And I felt it was short. I caught myself on my phone for this match. I was just kind of like, like I was expecting a little bit more Ricky Starks flair in this match, and you didn't see that. Like I figured he'd do the rope walk thing or something, or maybe he did, and I was on my phone because they already were boring me with the match.
It wasn't a bad match, but it didn't hold me as well as some of the other ones. It's like the one time I got distracted during this match was when I missed the setup for the Spinebuster finish. I saw the finish, I was like, what the fuck, it's over already?
Yeah, I was going to say it was a little short.
I did like Stark's new gear, though.
Yes.
From a costuming standpoint, Stark's, keep it. It's working.
Yeah, I felt like it just ended a little too abruptly. It wasn't climactic. It was very anticlimactic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels almost to me like they're setting up more with this feud. Like they've still got a big blow-off match coming. They've got to. Just with the way that one ended, it didn't have the juice behind it. All right, next, Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed.
I loved this match.
I love the fuck out of this match, but I'm going to tell you why I also find it to be the match that I disliked the most. Because I'm right there with the crowd. I didn't want Swerve in Our Glory to win.
No, I didn't either.
Oh, they got booed out of the fucking house, man.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I so badly wanted the Acclaim to win, and it was a great match. It was a great match. My ugh was because I didn't like the outcome of the match.
Yeah.
I was like, they've been setting this whole, like, Swerve Keith Lee in a fight because something's going to get screwed up. Like, they've been setting that up for a while.
Oh, yeah, they still
played it
were.
a little bit, and I felt like this was going to be the match that it came out. Like, they were going to be on a different page, and the Acclaimed would take the title. This
is that little infighting between those two was also played up during the scrum as well.
Yep, and I watched that, and I found it interesting how Swerve's like, oh, I don't want to match those guys again. And it's like, why? Because they're more popular than you are? Everybody wanted them to win.
I mean, damn, when Max Caster hoisted fucking Keith Lee up for a Death Valley driver, I was like, God damn. Even John Cena shared that fucking picture and liked it.
Well, and it's become so popular, and I know I'm not the only fan that's loving the daddy ass thing. That they had to actually had to break the ass boys away from him so that they could keep this thing going.
I know. Goddamn, the Acclaimed. It's like, I hated the shit out of them at first because, like, Max Caster's rap was so fucking bad and their chemistry just wasn't jiving yet. But once they found it, goddamn, they've been off to the fucking races, man. I fucking love the shit out of the Acclaimed now.
He's been putting, like, current events. He's been mixing that into his raps.
Yep.
And I've just been loving it. Like, it's great.
Mm-hmm. It was so good. And then, like, how well they played up Bowen's knee injuries during the match. Like, they did it better than anyone that tries to sell, like, leg injuries during a match than anyone I've seen in the past. Because, I mean, just to make an aside and a reference before, Jericho comes out and says, if I'm going to sell an injury in a match, I'm never going to do a leg injury. Ever. He's like, they're the ones that no one sells correctly. Like, no one does it right. So, and it's like, I know I won't do it right, so I'm never going to do them. So no one else should. And that's because you'll see it 1,000 times. People are getting their legs worked over. They'll stumble once or twice. Next thing you know, they're hitting the ropes at full fucking speed, like doing the craziest shit on the planet. But Bowen's played up his knee injury the correct way the whole fucking time.
Yeah, he never, and I was watching that closely and thinking to myself, wow, like, because usually you see the leg injury and then all of a sudden it's just like, they're like, the leg injury's gone when they hit like a few moves, and it didn't happen.
No, he did it right. They definitely did, and just, they got shortchanged, and, you know, in my opinion, what this is going to do, it sets up an even better feud because Keith Lee showed him respect at the end. But Swerve didn't.
Daddy ass.
Yeah, and Swerve didn't. So I see this as Keith Lee's going to throw his, well, I don't want to say it because it's like, damn, I set myself up for a bad kind of pun. Keith Lee's going to throw his weight around, and he's going to get them the rematch with the Acclaimed, and Swerve's not going to like that, and that's what's going to loosen those belts.
One can only hope. Plus, for me, I think Keith Lee should be on his own wrestling at the top.
Hey, I'm glad that he's got a title right now, because it's been a while since Keith Lee got any love. I mean, he was doing great in NXT, and then they moved him up to the main roster, made him Bearcat Keith Lee, and then he was gone. I mean, part of that was also because he had COVID for a bit. But then, once he came back, bye. And so, you know, I've been happy to see Keith Lee with the title.
I mean, I do enjoy them. I just don't enjoy them as much as the Acclaim.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Bearcat was a dumb name.
Who has a dumb name?
That's all I got.
Bearcat's a dumb name.
Bearcat was a dumb name.
Yes.
That just shows you how out of touch fucking shit was.
Yeah, Vince was out of his mind. I mean, just look at how good Karrion Kross has looked since he's come back.
Yep.
And
hard to believe that the best thing to have in wrestling was sex allegations.
It's crazy.
It makes no sense.
I know. So much good has come from something so bad.
And heinous.
That reminds me, fucking Karrion Kross threw a bottle at Drew McIntyre and interrupted the match a little bit at Clash at the Castle, and set up a nice little feud between them for later on too. So I think Kross is going to be in that title picture before too long. But next, you have the 4-way for the interim women's title. Toni Storm, Sheeta, Hayter, and Britt Baker. DMD. I'm not surprised Toni Storm won at all. I just kind of knew it was going to happen. It'd been pretty heavily telegraphed. Let's put it that way. And then Thunder Rosa going out with either legit or kayfabe injury kind of cemented my thoughts on that situation. But I will tell you this. Jamie Hayter is over as fuck with the crowd. They were cheering her more than anybody. Mike.
They definitely were. I always thought, and I thought this before Jade came along, I kind of thought Hayter was going to be, what is it? It's the TBS? Is it the TBS or the, yeah.
Yeah, TBS.
TBS. I kind of thought Hayter was going to win that.
I was hoping Hayter was going to, I can't remember, it's been so long since we did our whole series on the TBS title tournament last year, I believe it was. Was it into last year, Grayson?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it was just before Little Man came along. Yeah, I believe it was in some of the last matches you were around to talk about. But I really, really thought she would have had something in that run. But the things that gave it away for me was, one, the color palette they chose for Full Gear, the color palette they chose for the belt, and then Jade's color palette. That's what pretty much told me Jade's going to win that tournament. Did I say it up front? I said it a couple times. I think that's the way it's going to go. But I still wanted other people to win it. And Hayter is definitely one that I thought should have definitely made it most of the way. I was hoping Soho would have gotten to the end. I was hoping Statlander would have gotten all the way to the finish. But then, Jade won. Because Jade was rocking the teal. The TBS title is teal. The full gear color palette was teal. It was, 1, 2, 3, ABC. There's your finish.
I thought going into this match that it was going to be that something was going to go wrong in a dirty turn, and either Britt Baker was going to win it back dirty,
mm-hmm.
or they were going to try to do something dirty and Hayter was going to end up with it because whatever they tried to do went wrong. which almost they almost kind of made it look like that was going to happen. But,
for sure.
I honestly, I was torn on whether Storm was going to win because I feel like they were setting up for that, but I don't feel she's very good on the mic in cutting promos. And I feel like that is why, and that's one thing I think that the AEW women's division lacks, and I think that's why Baker held the title for so long, is because she's not a great wrestler, but she can damn well cut a good promo.
I remember when she couldn't.
Me too.
They cut the mic at the Jericho Cruise.
Yeah, so that was before I started watching.
She was awful at promos.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, I was really expecting, like, deep down, I was like, they're going to fucking put that belt back on Baker again. They're going to dip into the well one more time. But at the same time, I was also like, no. I feel like Toni Storm's really going to get it. But if the swerve happens, I hope it's Jamie Hayter. And damn near, it damn near was a couple times. But I think we've finally seen the rift between Hayter and Britt Baker come about. I think it's going to be, they're finally going to split those two up, and Hayter's going to go about her business.
They should.
Yeah. Hayter is over enough. She doesn't need Britt anymore. I mean, she got more chance last night, or like Sunday night, than Britt did. I mean, Britt, of course, got her obligatory D&Ds. People were cheering because, I mean, it's Britt. But she didn't get the, during the match, full-blown chance of her name.
Yeah.
Like, literally, Hayter was the only one that did.
This was the match I stopped watching. Just so I don't have too much input on the actual action itself. But who was it? It was Toni Storm one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, obvious. Okay.
Yeah, hit Jamie with the what's she call it? The Stormfront, whatever her package pile driver is.
I don't know the name of it, but that sounds right.
Yeah, I think it was Jamie fucking nailed Sheeta with something up on the ramp, and they like the crew and the air quotes doctors drug Sheeta back to backstage. And you're like, oh shit, Sheeta's kayfabe injured out of the match. Fuck
so,
anyway.
You know what I don't understand? You know what didn't make sense to me? So Sheeta comes back, right? Mm-hmm. You know, after she goes back, and she comes back with the kendo sticks.
Yeah.
I think I said that right. Wouldn't that be a DQ for using those in the match?
In real wrestling terms, yes, it would have. In storytelling, hey, we're going to let this slide terms, no, that woke everybody up. it brought the energy back to the match again. But
I mean, I loved it, but I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, she used a prop. That shouldn't count.
I don't remember that match being no holds barred or no DQ. And then she comes out and just starts wailing on people with fucking kendo sticks. I was just like, fair enough.
Wouldn't it just be more of like, since it's a fatal 4-way, you can't really have 3 winners?
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, you could DQ one and turn it into a 3-way dance.
Yeah, I just don't remember that ever being a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange thing. It's just, normal rules, but at the same time, usually if weapons are going to be involved or some sort of, gimmick, there's a caveat in the match description that says it's no DQ, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and I don't remember them saying anything about that.
Following this, you had Jungle Boy and Christian Cage.
Ugh.
This
is what I hated the most. This was my least favorite one.
Well, take the reins on this one. I want you to lay it out for us.
Yeah, so I don't... So here's the thing. So Luchasaurus does a double turn. And he comes out and he slams Jungle Boy around. And I don't get it. Why would he turn again? I never understood why he took... I could kind of buy it when the first time when he went with Cage, but then he turned back to Jungle Boy. Cage is, he can finagle things and make it look, but I just don't see him turning again. And then Jungle Boy like gets his way to the ring, can't fight because he's so beat up, and then it just like ends in like a minute. This is like the shortest pay-per-view match I've ever seen. It sucked.
Part of it is when the Luchasaurus double turn is, you can look at it this way. One, he turned, but it was all part of Cage's plan. Cage, sold it, which makes sense because, he's been wearing the Worked Everyone shirts in reference to how bad he's been working, Jungle Boy and everyone. But if you notice, like, normally if someone does like a big turn and changes their costume and then they turn back, the costume changes back. Luchasaurus never changed from the blackout costume.
That is true. I didn't notice that.
So,
but now that you say that,
yeah, that I think it's one of those things. It's like maybe he's keeping it just because he looks badass. That's kind of where I was thinking. But then when he turned again, I was like, there it is. He's not really back. He's a double agent. And so that choke slam onto the pyro grates was fucking nasty. And then I saw some after the match pics, and like they were legit like horizontal and vertical line cuts on Jungle Boy's back from it. But I heard this match was just Luchasaurus squashing the shit out of him and then Cage getting the easy pin because he's legit got a bad fucking arm injury.
Yeah, so because did you see it? Did you see the match? Did you watch this one?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. Yeah, because he did the grate and then a couple other things and then threw the table and then he wouldn't give up, and like Jungle Boy's mom and sister were there and just horrified in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was, to me, it was the worst match. I hated it.
It from the terms of like it didn't give you a satisfying payoff of that story arc. You wanted Jungle Boy to get his redemption over Cage. I get it. But at the same time, for just making Cage look like a manipulating sleazebag and furthering this story because it can't get a good payoff since he's injured, it works. So to me, those two conflicting angles kind of neutralize this match for me. It's neither here nor there for me. It's just like, okay, it's a wash. It was there to further the story. That's all its job was.
Well, and then the other thing too, the way they handled this. Okay, so Jungle Express is done. Well, that sucks.
Oh yeah, Jurassic
I really
Express.
enjoy them. Yeah, Jurassic
I do
Express.
enjoy them too, but yeah, I guess they're done for the foreseeable future. So Jungle Boy can go on his singles run, and it makes sense because now Jungle Boy is in parentheses, and then Jack Perry is following it on his title card. He's now officially Jungle Boy Jack Perry. So every time JR used to say that mistakenly, JR is no longer making a mistake. Yes. The next match was one that a lot of people were looking forward to. Danielson versus Jericho. It was good.
It was a good match. It was another match that I didn't like the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Although I was kind of expecting it. I'm like, because Jericho's only going to lose so many times on pay-per-view, and it's got to be for a story arc.
Yeah.
But man, they've really been dogging Danielson lately.
I know. I really think they've been dogging Danielson just because they're going to play up the fact that he's still recently back from injury. Because he hasn't been back from injury that terribly long, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And so...
The other thing I noticed, too, and this is kind of interesting, and I'm wondering where they're going with this. Mm-hmm. So, Danielson has not been wearing anything or cutting promos with Blackpool Combat Club. Did you notice that?
Well, his gear this time did have the BCC on it. It was written in the blood in some of the design.
Oh, see, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, but he hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't been cutting many of the promos. I think just because he's running his own little side story with Daniel Garcia.
And so my thought is he's either I feel like he's either going to break off from them,
Mm-hmm.
or Garcia is going to join them. That's kind of what I feel is going on right now. But we'll see.
That was tricky. I've got an opinion, but Grayson, I want to hear what your opinion is on Garcia and Danielson first. Just idea, even though I know you haven't watched a bunch about it. Just thoughts in general.
No to both.
No to both?
No, I think it's just they're just continuing the story arc. If anything, Daniel Garcia is gonna just win the pure championship off Wheeler Yuta and keep the feud going.
I can see that.
That's what I feel like. I think it's too soon for Daniel Bryan to just slip out. It's too soon for Garcia to slip out, especially since his crew is still with Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, in that perspective, it doesn't make sense, despite the fact, they're kind of teasing the rift. At worst, I think Garcia will probably get unceremoniously kicked, and then Blackpool Combat Club will be his backup when there's like a feud between him and Jericho. But I don't think he'll join either clique. I think it's more of a mutual respect thing.
Yeah, I can get behind that. For me, it's like as much as I'd love for him to be in the Blackpool Combat Club, because you remember way back when I was saying like he needs to pair with Danielson. It's the perfect pairing. He can't be in the Blackpool Combat Club now because it'll be overloaded. It's too many people.
Yeah,
it's too many. And one, as much as I love Wheeler Yuta, he needs a foil. And he doesn't have one. Garcia is the perfect foil for him.
Mm-hmm.
And as such, you can create a story arc where it's Danielson is the mentor for both Yuta and Garcia, even though he can't directly mentor Garcia because Garcia is with Jericho and the Appreciation Society. So there's going to create that little bit of a rift and tension that's already slowly becoming, because he's like, Jericho doesn't need to cheat, but Jericho's still, low blowing and cheating like a motherfucker. So right there, you've got some nice, you've got a good hetero love triangle angle already built in. And I think it could make for some good wrestling and good storytelling. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that it's time for him to leave the JAS yet. Nor do I think it's time for Danielson to split from the Combat Club under some sort of convictions, which would honestly seem made up on the spot. He has no reason to, because, they're fucking tight. I mean, they've already fucking done a photo shoot where they parody the Madness album cover.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, I don't see that group breaking up or changing anytime soon. But I can definitely see some angles being worked. But, yeah, Jericho had to kick him in the dick, and then Judas affected him to get the win, though.
I will say, though, that even though I didn't like that Danielson lost, I did at least appreciate that it was a dirty win for Jericho.
Yeah, that's the only way it should have been, even though Jericho is a hell of a good wrestler. Hell of a good wrestler. It was just perfect, because Danielson can out-finesse Jericho. I mean, it's a fact. Different styles. Ways, and they definitely showed that out. Following, you had the big 3-on-3, House of Black, Darby Allin, Sting, and Miro.
I love this match.
This was just a fun match, and it was surprising to see that Malachi got some color early on from some of those wails that he was taking from Miro. Like, apparently one of them caught him on the eyebrow, and he was just dripping blood for a hot second. Caught a juicy spot.
You know what? This is a weird team up, but I loved it.
It was great, and I just like the fact. Well, just like Chappell mentioned last week, I love the fact that Miro calls them pagans. It just makes me so happy.
It is pretty good.
Like, Miro's Redeemer character is the greatest thing to happen to him since Rusev Day. What do you think, Grayson?
Haven't really been around too much, but I love... Is he still talking about his hot wife and the sex positions? Because that was always hilarious, too.
Not so much the sex positions anymore, but what's funny is House of Black's been using Julia Hart to kind of, like, an almost a temptation, like an Eve-like character to him, and then she came up and touched him, and he grabbed her hand and was like, no, only one woman may touch me.
That was great.
Yeah, that's solid. That's some solid business.
But goddamn, his promos are fucking great. And he just, it's like he loves God and hates him at the same time. It's just, it's beautiful. I was just, goddamn, Miro. Goddamn. It just makes me sad that apparently following this match, we can go back into some of the more like intricate details in the match here in a moment. Malachi, blew kisses to the crowd, said thank you, and bowed out.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a whole fucking shitload of rumors. Like, apparently, like, it's all but been confirmed that he's the one person that asked for a release from their contract from Tony Khan. The timing isn't perfect, but the big thing that I've heard confirmed from more than one place now is that he's taking a mental health break. He's just going to stop wrestling for an extended period of time. Like, some people are saying forever, but most people are just saying no, just for a while. He just has some personal shit he needs to get taken care of, and he doesn't want to be distracted from it. It's like, I get it. I totally do. It's just the timing with the return of Triple H and the revival of quality WWE is just, it's hyper coincidental.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of people are connecting those dots. I've read a lot of articles. They were like, yeah, he asked for his release because Triple H wants him back, and he's going to go back after a break.
Yeah, I really, personally, I think he's been having a great time because he's had near limitless creative freedom at AEW. And he's been having all these great matches on the indies with Kings of the Black Throne, et cetera, doing all these great indie appearances, doing what he wants. I really don't see him going back to the WWE program unless they offer him a similar amount of creative freedom.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I just don't, personally. I mean, I could be wrong because, money talks. But at the same time, I just really feel like he's one of those people that wants to be creative and do his thing more than he wants to be told what to do just because he's making a shitload of money. I mean, beforehand, there was nowhere else to go. Now, there's more than one place. So, it's up in the air. But, I mean, if it turns out that he goes back to WWE, so be it. Will I be mildly annoyed? Sure. Am I going to fault him for it? Not really. Do what you got to do. You take care of you. That's all I got to say. I just hope he doesn't, from a personal standpoint, because I've liked his work here way more than his work over there. I just wish they had given him more rubs. Like, they would have been a great team to get the Trios title. Things like that. It's just... They've been kind of downplaying him a little bit. I think House of Black was on the verge of really fucking taking off because everyone in that group is over as hell. So,
yeah,
we'll see what comes of it. But, yeah.
Oh, I was going to go back to the match, but...
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So, best part of this match, Sting, Black Mist.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And I don't even like that gimmick, but I liked Sting using it against them.
I am a sucker for the Mist gimmick, just because, and I said this last week talking with Chappell about this match, I'm a big fan of the Great Muta. And the Great Muta fucking won me over with the Green Mist ages ago. And, he wasn't the only person to do it. There's Tajiri, there's the I think it was the Great Kabuki did it. I know that Bushi in New Japan, he does mist. Rarely now, but he does mist. But the Great Muta is the king of the mist. Bar none. And just seeing other people bring the mist back, I'm just like, this is great. And then the fact that Malachi's mist also has these near poisonous properties like the Great Mutas did, it just makes me happy. So anytime the black mist comes into play, I'm all for it. Even though Muta was green mist, this is black mist, but still, yeah, big fan, big fan. But seeing Sting mist Malachi Black for the win, I was most pleased.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked that they won because, I talked about it with Danielson that Darby's another person that has been losing a lot lately. Mm-hmm. But I also knew that Miro probably throws a wrench into that. And then everything that's being speculated with House of Black.
Yeah.
Then maybe that had to play into this. What do they do with Julia Hart? If
House of Black dissolves, I really don't know unless Brody and Buddy keep it going, or they wind up bringing someone else who's kind of got that look over and rebranding it almost. Who knows? This could be the doorway to revitalizing a heel Dark Order. I doubt
that would be interesting.
Because you'd have to cut out all of the comedy. If it's one thing that John Silver is gold at, it's comedy.
Add Black Mist Evil Uno. Turn him evil.
Mm-hmm.
Change his mask to where he no longer has a mouthpiece. Maybe something to breathe, but that's about it.
Uh-huh.
And he's no longer there, he's just fucking mean.
So he's almost like an automaton, a mindless wrestling machine.
Yeah, pretty much.
I could get behind that.
Because he's the most menacing member of the Dark Order, but on the flip side, he's also the most comedic value. So he'd be a good flip. Next to John Silver, but John Silver I don't think fits the mean demeanor.
Nah. Back when they still sported the masks, he could have pulled it off.
Yeah.
But once they got rid of the masks and went to near pure comedy, I was like, nah. It's not going to work like that.
No. You're done. You're done, son.
You're done. I worry about what they're going to do. And again, if I go back to the match as a whole, it was really heavy Miro versus Malachi in this match. It really, really was. I don't see how Bleacher Report gave this match a C+.
No, I don't feel this was a C+ match. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I really don't understand that rating at all. I mean, I also wish House of Black had won, but if Malachi's going to be going on hiatus for a bit, it does make sense that Darby, Sting, etc. won. Sting's doing good for his age. Damn good.
Oh, I watch his stuff and like all the drops he's done recently on Dynamite. I'm just like, wow.
For pushing 70, that motherfucker is going.
Yes.
It's crazy. And then finally, it brings us to the match that, well, people hate because of the way it went down. And two, they wonder why the fuck did they have it on a fucking Wednesday night and then have it again on a Sunday night. Jon Moxley versus CM Punk. And this is the match that both myself and Chapel got wrong. We both backed Mox on this one. We were thinking that, no, there's no way they're going to put this belt back on Punk after they just got it off of him like a few days prior. It was wild. But at the same time, this is a Chicago crowd and it's CM Punk, so...
I was the opposite. I'm like, there's no way Punk is losing in Chicago.
For me, that'd been the best way to like do an easy heel turn for Punk. Have him lose in Chicago. carry that chip on his shoulder the whole time and just go fucking classic heel Punk, because heel Punk is the best Punk. So,
I don't disagree with that, but
I'm just like, it was just odd. I mean, as a match overall, it was really good. I thought it was a wonderful match. Punk hitting the GTS within the first 5 minutes, and Moxley kicking out. It was good. Punk had to hit him with the GTS like what, 2-3 times at the end.
I think it was 3 because he hit it early in the match.
Oh, 3 total. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he hits it at the end, but like Moxley falls on him, and then he has to try to like he gets him up to hit it the last time.
Yeah. So 2 to finish it, 1 at the very, very start.
Yeah.
Mox hit him with the fucking. Well, let me go ahead and say this. I'm so happy that Excalibur is calling the paradigm shift by the New Japan name of Death Rider now. I love that name for it so much more. So hearing him say, and Moxley hits him with the Death Rider, I was like, oh man, shit. And Punk kicked out of that one. The best part, Moxley didn't bleed in this match.
Yeah, but Punk did, which is weird.
I thought that I feel like that was purposeful, of course, because I mean everyone jokes about how Moxley bleeds within like 2 seconds of any fucking match he's in, and then this one they just wanted to make him look extra tough, so he didn't bleed at all wrestling against CM Punk, but Punk did. I thought it was the perfect like callback to their barbs in some of their promos they cut on each other.
Well, yeah, it was definitely a callback to the promos. Because then he, like, freaking Moxley's licking the blood off his hand.
He is a gross bastard sometimes. He really is. I'm just like, come on, Mox. That's nasty. Why are you doing this? This is nasty. There's not much to say about this match as a whole, beyond it being a really good blow-off between the two of them. I mean, Punk won. Punk had new ring gear on. You know, it was solid white. It was just... Honestly, I think it was chosen just so he could get bloody. Kind of like how he wore the white shorts in Vegas for the MJF match.
Speaking of new outfit, how about those boots?
Oh, yes, yes. Grayson, you'll be pleased to know that during Punk's match, he was wearing Danhausen's boots.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, because the reasoning, apparently, was, and I believe, was it you that told me this, Adam?
Yeah, so they talk about it in his in the scrum, which I'm sure we'll get to in a few moments.
Yeah.
So he talks about it how his boots weren't fitting right, so he ordered another size that still didn't work. He tried out, so he actually ordered some Doc Martens because he's like, oh, I'll try what Danhausen has, and I think he didn't realize that they run so big, so they didn't fit him correctly. So Danhausen, he was literally wearing Danhausen's boots. So Danhausen goes, try mine. I guess they fit him perfectly. So they were legit Danhausen's actual boots.
That's great. And the part that I like most is I own those boots. I have them. They're in my closet upstairs.
They are comfortable boots. I used to have several pairs of Doc Martens.
The model that they have, those two have, is so fucking comfortable. It is a damn good boot. It's got, it doesn't have the classic Doc Martens sole. It's got more of a sport sole to it. They're comfortable as shit, and I can definitely see why Danhausen wrestles in them. Which brings me to a side point. The Danhausen action figure that they recently showed all the prototype digital sculpts for at the Fan Fest is not wearing the correct boots.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for pointing that out, because now it's glaring at me.
I mean, it is an easy fix. You buy an extra Darby Allin figure, you pop his boots off, you pop them on the Danhausen figure, you're done. But it's an oversight they shouldn't have made. But that's just me. It's one of those things. It's like Danhausen wears these boots. I know because I mentioned it to Danhausen on his Instagram page, and he liked it and commented back. And so that pretty much tells me is like he likes these boots too.
Has he come up with a name for it? Because I think it should be like Dr. Martinhausen.
I don't think he has, but I believe it's a missed opportunity.
It is a missed opportunity.
But now with that,
wait.
this.
I think we need to bring out. I think we need to talk about.
The post match.
Yes. Which
Okay. Yes.
I am so freaking over the top about this. I've literally been like this morning was listening to the entrance song. You know I love MJF.
Mm-hmm.
So Punk wins. Then all of a sudden you see the Joker with the mask. You get the little message from Tony Khan saying he needs to come back. I'll give you money to come back.
That was probably the best part of that whole MJF entrance. And Grayson, when you get a chance to finish watching that, that's one of the best parts. They play a recorded phone conversation of Tony Khan being like, your extended absence is hurting the company, it's hurting the other wrestlers, we want you back. You don't have to sign a contract extension, I'll pay you. And then they censor that part out for a while. Dollars. And then he keeps talking. And he's like, this is my final offer. And then the lights come back on, the music hits, and out struts MJF.
Well, no, so you missed that one part of that.
Which part?
Then they show the old Punk clip.
Ring
of Honor, the devil one, and then you can see MJF taking off the mask, and he goes, and I'm the devil himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they show an old ROH Punk clip where he talks about being the devil during one of his heel runs. And, then MJF menacingly takes his weird ghost mask off, and then,
puts on a scarf.
Lights come on, MJF music hits, and then out struts MJF. And he says nothing. He didn't get on the mic. He just does the classic belt across the waist thing.
And then flips the crowd off.
Yep, flips the crowd off and dips.
MJF is I'm so looking forward. I'm so looking forward to his promo tomorrow night. I had a new roof put on my house today, and I literally, as soon as they were done, I'm calling DirecTV, and I'm like, please tell me somebody can come over and fix this, because I can't miss MJF on Dynamite.
So, gentlemen, what'd you think about all the shit that went down at the media scrum?
Goddamn hilarious.
I have not heard of more childish bullshit coming out of a company since the days of WCW.
Yep. It's outrageous, man. And it's like, a lot of it makes sense, from how things have gone. Like, in his thing, literally, the first thing he does is like a 10-minute diatribe of like, dude, fuck Colt Cabana. I don't know why I'm still here talking about this shit. It's been like 10 years. Yeah, here we are.
The fact that he still kept going and just burying the fuck out of Colt Cabana, I was like, dude, you just said all you needed to say in the first 2 sentences. Why are you still going?
You know what perplexed me too is I was like watching Tony Khan's gestures, and it almost looks like Tony Khan's like shaking his head in agreement when like Punk's going off about some of this stuff. Like if you rewatch it, like watch Tony Khan and his gestures.
Yeah, his head nods and body language are definitely like in agreement body language gestures.
Yes.
And I mean, I have to agree to that extent, it's Punk doesn't want to talk about it, but everyone wants to talk about it. Mm-hmm. They always want to keep bringing it up. It's like, dude, we get it. It fucking happened. But why are we not past this yet?
Yeah, I wonder that too, because, I mean, sure, Colt did the dumbest fucking thing you could. to somebody. I'm sure at the time he's like, this is the perfect idea. I feel slighted somehow. I'm going to fucking sue him. Dumb. But at the same time, I'm just like, Punk, you just said it yourself. Why is everyone still talking about it? You're still talking about it too. Just fucking drop it. Say your 2 cents. Stop asking me this fucking question. I'm not going to answer it anymore, and leave it at that. You going so far as to say he had a shared bank account with his fucking mom. I'm just like, dude, come on.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a stretch, in my opinion. It could be he's financially assisting his mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it could be any number of things, but I'm just like, dude, all you had to do was stop at the first 2 sentences. I was with you right there. That's fine. When you started going off and insulting the shit out of Colt Cabana just because people asked you about it yet again, I was just like, dude, you're playing into exactly what they want to hear.
Yeah.
I can't believe all the crazy stuff that is coming out, like slowly coming out. Like at first we heard Nick Jackson got his ass kicked, and then it came out that Ace chucked a chair at him and gave him a black eye. Then I sent you that thing this afternoon where now like Jericho reshared this article where Ace apparently bit Kenny Omega.
Yeah. Apparently, like, they were throwing fists at each other. Ace apparently bit Kenny, hit Nick Jackson with a chair because one of them showed up to the hotel with a black eye that night. And then what's more is apparently CM Punk suffered like a torn pec and bicep from that fight.
Yeah, and I just saw that too. And apparently Ace's wife was in the room because she was taking care of Larry.
Yep.
I read that on another article.
Yeah, it's hard to tell who started what, but I mean, if you're the Elite and you're just barging into someone's locker room because you're pissed off that they fucking threw you under the bus, don't do that. Just because you're EVPs means you can't just barge in on someone and start berating them and, taking it out on them. Sure, you're pissed. You're EVPs, though. You need to go through proper, corporate-style channels. You know what I mean?
Well, and originally, too, I think my reaction last night as the news is breaking is like, okay, Punk, come on. Like, you freaking caused this. You're being a dick. But then now, like, people are coming out and being like, yeah, Hangman was being a dick in the locker room. He's been that way for months. And same thing with the Bucks have been problematic in the locker room. And I'm like, okay, well, now really what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. A lot of people have said it is the locker room has kind of gotten real cliquey and there's been less camaraderie since Cody left. He was kind of the glue that held the locker room together. They don't have anyone there now that can fill that role to keep the locker room held together. Jericho's not going to do it because Jericho, he's like, in my opinion, Jericho's like, fuck this. I don't need to do this shit. I'm Chris Jericho. I'm here for me and to make sure that what I do is good.
And that was my concern when it was announced that Cody was done. Yeah. I'm like, who is going to manage the talent? Because he kept people in check. Yeah,
and the short and long of it, and I've said it many, many times now, it feels like, via, conversations through Messenger, on the show, etc. Tony Khan needs to get his head out of his ass and actually hire someone to help him book, someone that has experience booking. And then that way he can take some of this workload off, get the fucking new ROH promotion shit rolling so he can start getting this talent working. All the talent that he's got working on the regular, not just doing dark elevation and occasionally popping in on Dynamite or Rampage, getting the ROH television programming going, getting that new rumored AEW television program going. He needs to go more hands-off on the day-to-day and focus more on the big picture shit. That's my opinion. And if he does that, it'll solve a lot of these behind-the-scenes issues, too, because people are saying like they can't get a word in with Tony Khan. Part of it being because he's trying to do too much shit, and he doesn't have the time for it like he used to. So, where's the disconnect?
Yeah, well, and it's going to be interesting, too, because all the articles that are coming out said the third show did not get chopped. Although, however much, they've chopped, right, since this merger went through, everything, leaking out said the third AEW show is still a go.
Yeah. And then, like I said, they're still trying to find a home for the new ROH stuff. So, we shall see.
Outside of what you guys have already said, Tony, that's why he promoted, 4 people recently to help offset that workload like you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's overloaded with shit. He's got too many big names that, they kind of can just go, absolutely not, go kick bricks, dude. Like, who the fuck are you? It doesn't matter how much money you got. These guys have been around the block and they can play the game. Much like, I hate comparing it, but like WCW. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Oh, God, yes.
I also saw something, I think it was today, where, what's his name, the guy who owned WCW, was coming out and, with all the unrest and everything that went on, and was like, see? He's making the same mistakes I did.
Oh, Bischoff?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not surprised Bischoff's doing this, because their relationship has become very, very strained recently. Because, Tony Khan's ego isn't in check, and then Bischoff is definitely still Eric Bischoff. He knows what he's talking about, but at the same time, you're not going to tell him anything because he'll tell you instead. And that leads us kind of to where we are currently. A giant who's who of who you're right, or you're wrong and I'm right, or et cetera, et cetera. And it's just hurting the product, the fan base, and the talent more than anything else. Because some people can't get their fucking heads out of their asses long enough to realize it's more than just their ego that they've got to, take care of. It's just, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But hopefully, they get some of this shit sorted out. Because I really don't want to see a repeat of the WCW days.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm just gonna kick it back real fast to the fight stuff, but who the fuck fights a person?
Yeah, I was thinking, that's some Mike Tyson shit. Come on.
It's like, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I shared it in our chat with a big WTF.
Yeah, dude. Who bites a guy, really?
It's just fucking absurd, some of the shit that's been going on, man. It's just like the more we hear about the Punk and everyone fallout from that scrum, the more difficult it is to just wrap your mind around it.
Yep.
Goddamn. And the fucking lawyer team's already involved because of the kerfuffle from yesterday in the locker room. The police got involved. Security got involved. They're having a big-ass fucking meeting with Tony Khan this week. Could have happened today or whatever. We've already seen the giant, probably fake, but who knows thing that I shared with everyone today. Probably definitely fake, but either way, enough to get all those speculative juices flowing in your mind. Who knows what the fuck's going on? Really. It's all pure guesswork right now.
Well, and then I hear that I don't remember what the line card was for Dynamite, but anybody who was involved with the scrum is getting scratched for this week's shows. and getting replaced with something else.
Or at least that part of the scrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, damn near everyone was involved in the scrum that had a match the other night. But definitely from that crew, yeah, no one's going to be in it. Because I'm sure the Bucks and Kenny would have had some sort of thing on there because they won the trios title. Punk would have definitely had something since he just became world title holder again. MJF. Oh, God. I didn't even think about this until just now. Tony Khan's going to have to make sure he tells MJF to keep his fucking mouth shut.
Right?
Because MJF is... You're going to hear from MJF on fucking Wednesday.
Tomorrow. We're less than 24 hours from the return of MJF to Dynamite. I'm excited.
I know, but, I mean, if they don't fucking put the gag on him real fucking fast, shit's going to really hit the fan, because you know he has no qualms with fucking dishing out the damn dirt.
I also hope the Acclaimed work this into their rap.
That'd be pretty good. I'd be perfectly okay with that. I think we've hit most of the high notes because, I mean, fuck. Just the scrum alone, it's like, if it hadn't been just a deluge of just news from last night into today, just constant updates and rumors and everyone chiming in their 2 cents, we probably could have talked about it for fucking 2 hours. But as it is, I'm just like, I think we've said everything we need to say, and we just need to watch and see what's going on, because they're not allowed to say anything on official AEW channels yet since the lawyers are involved. Until the lawyers give them the exact keep your ass safe CYA verbiage to use. My prediction here is, one, all parties involved are going to be heavily fined and suspended for a period of time. They're all going to have mandatory, probably like anger management or team building classes with one another. Because nothing would be better to really attack all of their egos than saying, hey, you fucked up, now you've got to work with these people you don't like and come to terms with it. And then, two, of course, Ace Steel has been shit-canned already. They're going to have the true come to Jesus. You know, like, your mom or dad uses all 3 of your fucking names to come down on you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all of them are going to get one of those.
Has it been confirmed that Ace was fired?
I'm about 100% sure.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to be.
Yeah.
You know, based on... That was before I heard about the bite.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just the chair alone, I was like, he's done.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. It's like, I could go either way. It's like, one, they could keep him around. True. Put him through the same fucking shit as everyone else. But, at the same time, they need to make an example of someone. Sadly, Ace Steel is the most expendable one out of those 4. And if worse comes to worse, and they can't come to some sort of mutual agreement, CM Punk's going to be the first one to be cut loose. They're not going to drop 3 people to keep 1.
Well, yes, but what about dropping the one person that, if that statement was correct? What if Hangman's gone? What if Hangman's gone?
I'd say if they cut Punk loose, they could get Hangman back. So that'd be keeping 4 and losing just 1. I mean, Grayson laid it out pretty logically, because, I mean, he's seen enough of their press releases. What all did you say was wrong with that one earlier today?
Yeah, that press, the quote unquote Tony Khan statement.
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, that thing was fake as hell. So, like, the thing with it, right, is it was grammatically different than anything Tony's ever done. Tony doesn't drop mad ampersands like no one's business. The wording is terrible. Also confirmed Tyson Smith, Kenny Omega, and Matthew, and Nicholas Massey, the Young Bucks. Like, that's just poor grammar. Whoever wrote that does not have a strong grasp of the English language. Tony Khan has people write these fucking statements who can write things properly. So that right there just screamed fake. Two, if these statements, they would never confirm rumor.
Mm-hmm.
They would just say, they've asked for their release, we've honored it, we wish them the best. Two, as I was rereading it after I sent that, the whole, it was Stephen Walt's item page, has resulted in Stephen leaving the company. We wish him the best for the rest of his career and AEW and our roster. That reads stupid, and no one would put all of that. It would just be more of like, we wish him the best of his career.
Yep.
And then they said the best for the rest of his career. That as well just reads just dumb as shit. But one of the other main ones that stuck out was they used a different text font. That's one way you can tell it was fake as well. Because Tony Khan always uses, it's always the same font. It's always the official statement. You can't change that. They pick a template and they just go in and they type something in. Someone made this and just tried to make it look legit. But yeah, they're dumb as shit.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Like I said, he analyzed the shit out of it.
They use too many ands, man. Go to fucking school. It's like some middle schooler wrote it. They didn't even use commas, no semicolons, or anything when it should have been used. Like, it's fucking embarrassing.
One of our 5 listeners will be the person that wrote it. He's like, oh man.
Yeah, you're fucking stupid. You probably quit listening to our show. I'm not even on here anymore. But yeah, I stand by it.
You basically become on a very special episode of Clone High.
Yeah, that's right.
Guest appearance.
Yeah, lick my tears.
we probably
reference that's an intro video clip.
Love it.
And then just like, dude, Tony Khan's a fucking billionaire. You're gonna tell me he can't he can't pay someone to write a proper fucking sentence?
It's true.
And if it's an official statement from the CEO of a company, they're gonna be typing full words, not using symbols. That's like if they came out and was like, "Here's your contract," and it uses "UR" for "your."
But with that long diversion away from the main topic, sounds like a good enough time to say, hey, that's the show for this week. Thanks for Grayson for finally coming back and completing the brothers discussion for a short little guest spot. Hopefully you'll be back sometime before 4 months again.
Maybe. No guarantees.
Yeah, watch a little wrestling. At least maybe we can bring you back for the big AEW shows. They're main ones until, everything gets sorted.
It'll take me 2 months to watch one episode of Dynamite, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Like I said, for the bigger shows, your Full Gears, your Revolutions, etc.
Yeah.
Again, thanks for coming. It's been a hot minute. You need to make it every so often. Adam, thanks again. You're welcome back anytime. Always good to see you when you were super excited about talking about something.
I'm glad to be here, and yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm a big MJF guy, so I was I gotta dish on this.
Oh, for sure. We may have to do a little follow-up, short something. I'm not sure what the plan is for next week, because like I've been telling everyone, we are slowly working on the new format for the show, turning the predictions and such as slightly more infrequent episodes and then going for something else entirely. That's still working. I think next week we're going to try and actually do some recording for that. So fingers crossed it starts going pretty well, and we'll see whether we've bitten off more than we can chew or if it's going to go off with minimal hitches. But either way, that's been Post to Post for this week. Thanks for listening. Thanks again to Andy Polar and Falcon for making us sound good.
That's sweet ass.
He's a great guy. He missed you so much this summer.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm. So we'll have to make him a Christmas present of you and me going to say hi.
I was gonna say a nice fireman calendar shoot.
Oh, fireman calendar shoot? Nah, he'd probably get down with that.
Yeah, Freddie would.
Yes. And with that, again, check us out on all the spots. The episode will be up and probably tomorrow. Tomorrow being Wednesday. We'll try to get it up before Dynamite airs, but just so you know, we'll be here. Enjoy. Listen to all you can back issue wise. Tell your friends. If you like it, tell us, etc. and so on. We don't suck, but we need more listeners. Yeah, that's pretty much short and long of it. And with that.
And if you don't like it, well, you can be wrong.
Exactly. You're entitled to your wrong opinion.
That's right.
Everybody, we'll catch you on the flip side. We'll try to get Grayson back. He brought in the laughs. It's been a long time. Adam's always welcome back. Hopefully we'll have some more things for you pretty soon. And with that, bye.
Bye.